1925, a fellow by the name of Leon Fraser. He was the wealthiest banker in America, and 25 years later, this man committed suicide. 1927, a man by the name of Charles Schwab was a steel tycoon. He was the richest man in America. 5 years later, this man dies penniless. You know, life is full of exaltation and also humiliation. And psychologists tell us that most human beings in the course of their life will experience both. Times of exaltation, great highs, and also great lows, humiliation. And that's the key point of today's gospel reading, which comes out of the 14th chapter of Luke, verses 7 to 14. Let us start off by taking a look at verse 7 of the 14th chapter of Luke. Verse 7 says this: Jesus told a parable to those who have been invited to dine in the home of the leading Pharisee. Noticing, and that is so important, noticing how they were choosing the places of honor at the table. Now what's amazing is this: the invited guests knew what? They knew there were only so many seats at the head table. And they knew that sitting at the head table was based upon assignments. That occurs no matter where you go. The head table is reserved for special people. But they decided to circumvent courtesy. They made a mad dash for prominence that wasn't promised. They were jockeying for position that wasn't pledged. They were trying to get to the head table, all these people, and Jesus looked and said, no. This is a great teaching lesson, a great teaching moment. That's not the way you work it in life. And therefore, Jesus takes this teaching opportunity, and he's going to share something that all of us need to hear. That's verse 11 out of the 14th chapter of Luke. Take a look. It says there, for everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and the one who humbles himself will be exalted. Now, when you look at that verse, there's one word that occurs twice, especially in terms of the root word itself. Do you see it? Well, exalted occurs twice, and then the other word I'm looking at is the word humbled. Humbled and humbles. Now, in order to truly understand that word humbled, what we want to do is take a look at the development of the word humbled itself to see what it means. Let's take a look. The word humbled comes from the Greek word humus. Humus means dirt, means soil. So when you're working out in your garden, you're working out in the soil, you're close to the ground, you're close to the earth, you're working with nature. Now what Jesus Christ is saying is that if you have a tendency to exalt yourself, to puff yourself up, to make yourself more than you are, life has a very interesting way every so often of humbling you, right? Of bringing you back down to, and there it is, of bringing you back down to earth. Now you might know someone right now that needs to be brought down to earth. Maybe they got a promotion at their job. Maybe everything's going really good and they kind of get a little carried away with themselves, a little bloated, a little self-consumed. Why, when that happens, when you exalt yourself, you're going to be humbled, you're going to be brought back down to earth. That's the message for this morning. You know, it reminds me of Winston Churchill. He was the Prime Minister of England during the 1940s and the first half of the 1950s. Now, Churchill had this incredible gift. He was a great speaker, orator. And whenever he would give an address, whether it be in a lecture hall, some auditorium, he would fill it. People loved to come to listen to Churchill speak. Not only did they enjoy what he had to say, but they liked the way he said things. They just liked his delivery. He had a way to captivate people. And a newspaper reporter one day went to Churchill and said to Prime Minister Churchill, "I am amazed. Everyone is. You are so humble, yet you're such a great orator, and you pack every venue in which you give a talk. How do you do that? What keeps you so humble?" And this was his answer. He said, "I appreciate the fact that many people love to hear what I have to say and like to hear how I say it. And I like the fact that so many people come to fill up the venues in which I'm talking. But," he said, "I know this much. If I was to be executed in a town square, twice as many people would show up." That's what kept him humble. Because he realized, I might be good at this, but not good at that. The message is pretty potent for all of us this morning. It's a simple message, and I definitely don't want to be verbose this morning, because if I'm too verbose, then I'm going to allow the message to get camouflaged and clouded, and that I don't want to do. What Jesus Christ is saying is, if you exalt yourself unworthily, you make yourself up to be more than you are. If you become full of yourself, become bloated with yourself, become so egotistical that when you are in the company of someone else, they know exactly what you're going to say. What you're going to say is I, and me. What Jesus Christ is saying is this: don't allow yourself to do that, because everyone who humbles himself will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Let someone else do the bragging for you. You don't have to brag for yourself. Because what we know is this, and maybe you've had this happen in your life, but if you get carried away with yourself, God has a very unique way of allowing you to be humbled. And take a look at that earth, allowing you to be brought back down to earth. And when you fall from the top to the bottom, ooh, that really hurts the backside.